And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I'm here this evening in Prague with Mr. Justin Ternes, who is in sunny California. It is -9 degrees C here. How are you doing weather-wise in Encinitas?
I'm doing fabulous. It's sunny. About 65 is winter right now in San Diego, California, which means that it's still warm, but not as warm. So clear, blue skies. It's a perfect day. Very nice.
You don't do the Californian thing as soon as it drops below like a tiny amount. Put the big jacket and the beanie on. You know?
No. I'm a Wim Hofer, man. I go
Wim Hof.
and I'm like, get into the cold. I want it because I didn't live in San Diego growing up. I lived in Arkansas, central United States. We have all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I moved here, and it didn't change from summer into autumn. It didn't change from summer into winter. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So anytime that the weather or the temperature drops, I'm all about it. I'm like, yes, something different. I love it.
I don't know Arkansas, but I know that when you're in those states that like in the middle of America, the weather can actually be quite extreme, can't it? It can get very hot and very cold.
Very hot, very cold. And in between the two, a nice swirling tornado. I'm like from like Tornado Alley. So
that's where you're from. You're from the tornado place?
Tornado place. Yep. I'm like right on the edge of tornado place, like in the hills, Ozark Mountains. So yeah.
I went to Texas once. I think it was Dallas I went to, and they said, oh, the weather can change really quickly here. You can be out in like, shorts and t-shirt in the morning, and then you'll be in full winter jacket by the evening. And I was like, yes, this is the kind of crap that people say about their cities and their states. It's usually garbage. And then it happened. And I was like, what the hell? How do you people deal with this? That like the weather could kill you. It could actually kill you.
It can kill you for sure.
So tell us about how most people obviously associate these days breath work with Wim Hof. So if you could let us know what your history is and what your experience is with the Wim Hof stuff and what it is you yourself are doing now, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. So like Richard said, my name is Justin Ternes. I'm a physiotherapist, so a doctor of physical therapy here in the States. And I've found breathwork as an extremely valuable tool to improve my own life and my own self. And then I've been translating it into work with patients to help with their pain response, their recovery, and found amazing benefits. And I began with Wim Hof method. Like Wim Hof was my intro about 6 years ago. I heard this crazy old guy, like enthusiastic about life. And I was like, I want that. And so I started trying it, and I started feeling in that similar like way of like, wow, I have this new energy and rejuvenation. And so I started practicing regular. And again, that practice for my own being translated into improvement and using that as a tool to help people. And that's what brings me here to teach all of you guys, is a little taste of what I do. And what began with Wim Hof method evolved into other practices like Kundalini, holotropic breathing. And then I've started to work with Brian McKenzie, who is of Power Speed Endurance. He's my personal mentor. I've been working with him one-on-one for the last year. And I really like his principles, which is taking me away from methodology, like do it this time, this many reps, and go, go, go. Here's a structured box. And it's taking me more into the idea of principles and really finding creativity in how you breathe, but accomplishing the same task. So what we'll do whenever I demonstrate and we breathe together as a group, what we'll do is, again, my play on a combination of Wim Hof principles, Brian McKenzie principles, some movement, Kundalini, to get and open up the expansion of our body. So it's a combination of many things, and it's always different, and it's always fun. So
it's called breathwork. But obviously I met you in Encinitas, and we did with my sister. Was it an hour of breathing that we did?
Yes, approximately like 45, 50 minutes. Yep.
And it seems to, so it's breathwork. So you would think that's people in a room going, but there's actually it spans multiple disciplines, as you've just said. It seems to also, like with the Wim Hof thing, it seems to sort of espouse a sort of a stance to lifestyle as well, like self-reliance, minimalism, trusting in your own resilience, trusting in your own nature, your own immune system. Is that fair to say that the breathwork kind of encompasses a lot of these ideas?
Yeah, it's very on point what you're saying. I see it as a psychophysiological practice, right? We're breathing in a way that is creating stress in our body. And when we experience stress in our body, our mind will try to figure out what's going on. And there's this mind-body communication or miscommunication, right? And so when we breathe in an accelerated manner, it is going to entice our brain to think a little bit more or get confused. And then we can tap in and trust and do all the whole like holistic breathing practices to create this alignment. And it isn't just like breathing. You can do breathing for the sake of just like, or you can do it and add and know that with that type of breathing will come a different type of perspective. So you say, yeah, it's encompassing a lot of things, and it can grow to be a practice that works beyond just a controlled environment. Like for me, it is a lifestyle, like you said, because I know that I can utilize it and bleed it out into my day and improve parts of my stress resiliency whenever I'm using my breath as an anchor throughout the day, rather than just saying like, okay, I did an hour, cool, good job, done. So there's so many elements. And I think another beautiful thing is it's very individualized to whatever you experience. So whenever I breathe in a certain way and you breathe in the exact same way, I might just feel like, oh, that was a cool little body workout. And then you might say, whoa, I got to connect with some ancient like species, and I got to like connect with spirituality in a completely new way. And or sometimes someone else will do the same pattern and they're like, whoa, I had these memories and thoughts and emotions that I've never thought about in a while. And so moving breath in a bigger way can move your body's energy in a new way and maybe open up different avenues of thought. And so
that's what really interests me. There's two sides of this that really interest me. For my own work, I ended up coming to the conclusion, when it comes to trauma, we have to do something that invites neuroplasticity back in, because it's a physical problem. It's not just like a cognitive problem. The cognitive issues are a symptom. It's a physical thing that seems to be, and it's in the brain, it's in the body, it's in the hormonal system. And I liked the breath work that I did with you. When I did it, it's the first time I did anything in a disciplined way for a long period of time. When I say long period, longer than 5 minutes. And it was like taking psychedelics. So I loved it. I was like, wow, this felt like ayahuasca or acid, but you can stop at any time. It's completely natural. You're not having some sweaty, weird, pukey drug experience. It's your own body, but you're still getting that. For me, I experienced that sort of moment of expanded consciousness, which I thought was great. And the second thing that I like, and I think is going to become very pertinent as we swim out of the crisis that we're in, which we will slowly, people are going to be looking very much more seriously at preventative medicine. Yeah. And this isn't woo, is it? There's actual hard science behind this, right? Could you talk to that for a moment for us?
Well, you're speaking into my like passion. You might see me getting excited hearing about this, but first piece about the psychedelic experience, right? Where the idea of psychedelics, like creating hallucinations, in my mind or my understandings, like that's kind of like the old understanding. What we're really finding through research of psychedelics is that it's lowering the veil. It's like, or it's taking away the filters that we have to protect us from reality, because there's so much external stimulus. And if we were seeing everything that is really out there, we'd be overwhelmed. So we protect ourselves, and psychedelics kind of pull that down. And so it's almost like you see more reality than you do without the psychedelics, but it's in a short period of time, and definitely don't recommend living life in psychedelic world, because then you'll go crazy. People do go anyway. Yeah. But the breathing, because you are breathing the way that we're going to be breathing, is more a hyperventilation, acceleration type, stimulating type breath. It's it's contrasted with a very soft hold at the bottom. So you go from breathing fast, rapid, and then holding stillness. And in that stillness, that's where you're opened up to presence, and then you're opened up to quiet. Veil comes down, and then maybe you have some kind of spiritual connection. Or people say, I don't know how to meditate. It doesn't work for me. And then they do this breath work, and they get to this little bottom quiet space, and they're like, oh, that's what it's like for my mind to be quiet. And so I love it as a tool to help access and connect to spirituality. I wasn't spiritual throughout my whole life, non-religious, even though I was from that part of the America, South, the Bible Belt too. But I wasn't, and I was disconnected from that. And through breathing, I've been more open. Like, I've been opened up to spirituality and the idea, and I'm very grateful for that. But I don't think I would have got there. Or maybe I got there a different way, but breath was the way that I got there. And to speak into the woo-woo, right? I was teaching a breathwork class, like a yoga class, with my mom and her boyfriend, who's from very southern area. At the end, we did the Om. We did, okay, ready, everyone, deep breath. Oh, extended the exhale, Om. And I like looked around the room, everyone's doing it, and he's just kind of like this, like, no, not
Jesus wouldn't like that.
Jesus wouldn't like the Om. That's not for me, right? And so after I was like, how was it? And he's like, yeah, it was really good. And I was like, well, you didn't do the Om at the end. I'm wondering. And he's like, yeah, I don't do that. And then I was like, well, sometimes we do the Om to connect to this. People who do it to spirituality, but really when you're Oming, you're creating a vibration in your chest. Oh, and it's going to vibrate and stimulate your vagus nerve, which is going to activate a calm sensation in your physiology. So by Oming or humming, or maybe just vibrating, like, you don't have to do the Om. Making that vibration is going to cause another layer of calmness in your body. And he's like, why didn't you say so? You know? And the next class, he was like the loudest Omer in the class. He's like, oh, but he took away that idea that the Oming was solely for spirituality, but really what it does is it creates a vibration, stimulates vagus nerve stimulations, parasympathetic, calm, and it creates some rest and digest type feeling sensations. So
he needs to recognize that as the Om traveled from India to Egypt, it eventually became Amen, but they were just mispronouncing it. If you give them an Amen, they're happy down in the Bible Belt with it.
Oh man, yeah, that's it. Yep, exactly.
The thing with the science side of it is, I remember watching something with Wim Hof where they've run tests, they've run clinical trials with him, and wasn't he actually given a pathogen, him and his students, and they got the pathogen out through breathing and through some sort of mental focus? Is that, am I right in saying that?
Yeah. So it was a study at the University of Amsterdam, and he was given like a variant of E. coli. It wasn't like the deadly E. coli, but it was the E. coli that created extreme nausea, vomiting, sickness in a very acute amount of time. And he used his breath technique, and he had 0 symptoms, while the other group, the control group, didn't use his breath technique, and they had extreme vomiting, headache, high raise in blood pressure. And so they're like, oh, Wim Hof, you are a unique specimen. You're a superhuman. And he's like, no, I just do that. I can teach people. And they're like, okay. So they did another round of that same study, and he taught 10 people that practice, and then had the other control group who didn't do that. Same thing with the control group, sickness, symptoms, nausea. And then with his group where they were doing breath, I think he says that like the researchers came in to check in on them, and they're all like, doing great, thank you. They're like happy and having fun, and they're in this like joyful state. And so what happens physiologically is through breathing, create this almost panic state intentionally. And that's what cause our immune system and our adrenal system, endocrine system to react as if something's bad is happening. And so we get this head start with our immune system. Yeah, it's like, oh, instead of the E. coli coming in and then causing sickness and then prevented it, or like in retrospect, the health comes in and pushes it down and suppresses. It's like sickness comes in, or E. coli comes in, and then you meet it where it's at with your breathing, and then the symptoms never have time to like grow. Like your immune system's already turned on to push that away. And so this technique's very good with combating different like, kind of symptoms and sicknesses, but at the same time, it's not a be all fix all, right? I think a lot of people are like, oh, I can cure everything like cancer and all this stuff. And there is a component of preventative health, but it's also important to consult physicians.
It's not boundaryless, kids. It's not like, if you're somewhat healthier, it's good, but still see a doctor, because we all occasionally need things slicing off, and no breath work is going to help.
On my toe is just really getting gnarly. And
well, I think that after we come out of this crisis, I think that there will be much more interest. Like people are going to be much more, already people are getting careful about their health. I've seen it. Like people are saying, okay, finally I'm going to drop weight. Finally, I'm going to give this up. I'm going to give that up. I'm going to change my lifestyle because, well, being stronger is better. Being healthier is better for a lot of reasons. So I'm very excited about this kind of work, both for the trauma usage and just for preventative medicine, really, for the health aspects of it.
Me and you too, man. I'm right there. I'm excited. I remember when COVID first started, there was pessimism and optimism mixed up all the things, but I was on board with it from the side that it created a desire to reach out and connect. The isolation created this, like, I don't like isolation, let's like connect. And so I almost saw communities coming together even more than before. And so similar with health, it's like, oh, who are the individuals that are suffering most from COVID? Are those who are predisposed to other kind of chronic illnesses. And there are individuals, of course, who are in good shape and they're still being affected negatively by COVID. So there's both, but there is a general correlation between overall health of lifestyle. So I see great opportunity for us to shift as a society, as a world, and I'm here for it, and I'm really excited to support people in their journey. And that's what I want to do here is use breath as a tool to help you combat whatever is going on with you, whether it's physical stress or emotional, mental stress. I think that this is a practice that can be used frequently to improve health. So very excited.
Should we give these people a little taste so they can fly amongst the rainbows?
Yes, we shall. Take it away.
Hi, you're the sensei for this one. Please take us away, sir.
Okay, I'm the sensei. Well, what we'll do is this will be like a 2-part breath practice. First is to get us open and move our body just a little bit. I'd encourage you being in a seat. Now for the second part, this is where we'll drop into more of the like Wim Hof principle type space. I'd encourage you to lean back. So first part, let's sit up, forward, find yourself like fidgeting into a nice comfortable position. And I'm going to encourage breathing in through a straw and then out through an open mouth. And I'll also maybe instruct like an open mouth inhale. And notice that's a little shorter. So open mouth inhale is like you're filling up and almost like you're scared of something, right? That's going to have a different physiological effect. So inhale through a straw is longer and more filling. Good. And then the inhale through an open mouth is a little bit sharper and pulling and stimulating. And what we'll do here is we're trying to stimulate our body intentionally. How often, who has stress? Yeah, we're in the right room. Everybody. How often are you just like the victim of stress? It comes to you. You're just like getting hit by stress all the time. Now, here we're going to be creating the stress. So we have our fingers on the dial and we get to turn it up, and then stress goes up and we get to say, no, let's slow down our breath. Let's turn down the dial. And so we are in control of stress, which can oppose what normally happens, which is stress just comes to us and we don't know what to do and we're just getting hit by it. So we're going to be an active participant in the stress. And in order to do that, we create stress through breathing. And so what we'll do is in through a straw to lift our chest. So inhale, opening chest, and then exhaling down. Letting your body round and deflate. We're inhaling, lifting, shoulders back, chest up, and then exhaling, dropping, head rounding, emptying out. Inhale deep in, really filling up, expanding. So the bigger our ribs get, the more breath we can take in, and then exhaling, rounding down. And then we're gonna do 3 pumps at the bottom of the exhale. So an extra pump, more, deep in. So notice there's always just a little bit more to exhale. So we go down to the bottom, and then another exhale, and another exhale, deep in. So here we're getting more clear gauge on how much our breath can come in, like how much lung capacity we actually have. One more exhale all the way out, and another dump, and one more. Inhale to hold, inhale holding at the top, holding at the top. We're gonna hold our breath here for about 10 seconds. And as you're holding, you're lifting through your posture. Good. And this practice of taking these big breaths and then dumping out all the way is, again, just expanding our lung capacity. Exhale out, let it go. Good. Notice that was just a warm up. So if you're feeling tingling or heat, what are you feeling? Flustered. You're like, what the heck, right? So even breathing in a bigger capacity has a physiological effect. Numbness, tingling in fingers is normal. Lightheadedness is normal. And if that's something that you're experiencing, know that majority are also experiencing that kind of weird feeling sensation. If you feel like it's too much, you're getting too dizzy, you are in control of your breath, and so you can turn it down. I encourage you to turn your breath down and go a little bit slower than I go to give your body space. To continue with the expansion of our body and our ribs, we're going to inhale. So you can watch me first, but it's an inhale, lift, rise, and rotate. I like to use my hands on my legs to help me twist. And then exhale. Same thing on that first exhale, lowering down. So it's an up, inhale, rotate to the right. So lifting through a straw, open. And then exhale down the middle. Rounding. Again, we're trying to find that peak inhale top. Open, up, in. Open up, rotate. And then exhale down the middle. Finding the bottom. Inhale up and lift. And again, we're trying to rotate and breathe into different parts of our ribs, and then exhale down, come to the middle. Good. Okay, inhale up to middle just to reset. Inhale, holding at the top for 5 seconds for engaging your core. So opportunity to pull your energy inward, tall, and then exhale out. We're going to go up to the opposite direction. So really working on that rotation, because breathing into rotated ribs is going to hit and expand in a different way than breathing into sagittal plane ribs. So that's the goal here, is to, again, to expand and open up the breathing space a little bit more. So inhale, up, rotate to the opposite direction. Exhale down middle. Inhale up, rotate. Exhale down middle. Inhale up, rotate. Exhale down middle. One more inhale up, rotate, biggest breath yet. And then exhale down middle. Good. Come up to middle, hold for a second. Great. And then relax. Nice. All right. That's just a nice little warm up. Now, next, you get to relax. If you want to lay on your back, totally open for you to do that. Make yourself comfortable. Comfort's key. You're not locked into any position. So let your body kind of move and fidget. And if you want to put your phone, if you're laying on your back, just put my audio right by your ear, or you can just follow along. You won't need to see me. You can just hear me and follow. We're going to use the same in through a suction, out through an open mouth. And this is going to be more of that stimulating breathing. So it might be get your heart rate going. Makes sense. We're breathing faster, lungs moving faster. It means the heart's going to go faster too. And we'll do this for a series of 3 rounds. Okay. And each round will be approximately 2 minutes of breathing and then a minute of holding approximately. Now, I want you to know that because as you're breathing for this 2-minute gap, remember, this is a psychophysiological practice. So in this 2 minutes of breathing, guess what? Your mind's going to be like, what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? Who is this guy? I don't trust him. This is crazy. He said 2 minutes. It's been 20 minutes. That liar, welcome those thoughts. Yeah, thank you. But no, we're doing this for 2 minutes. Maybe I go to 2.5, right? But we're going to stay within this structure so that you feel safe and you can combat those fears with the truth of this is okay. This is safe. I am in control. And I'll remind you of those as we go. So with that being said, we're going to begin in through a straw. Open mouth, exhale. Let it go. In through a straw. And out. In through a straw. And out. And when you feel comfortable, you can drop or close your eyes in and let it go. And you don't have to close your eyes, but it's an option. In and let it go. Good. In through a straw. Open mouth, show off your bad breath. That heat, exhale. Good. In through a straw, coolness in. Open mouth, exhale. Coming out. Beautiful. A little faster. A little bigger. This is where we turn it up a notch. You are in control. I'm setting the pace. So keep up with me if you can. Freedom to go a little faster than me. Freedom to go slower than me. Just know that I'm going to keep the same pace for 10 more breaths. 10, 9, all the way in. Let it go. All the way in. Let it go. Here's number 7. In. Let it go. Your body having these changes. In. Let it go. 5 more, deepest yet. Go. 4, in through a straw, sucking in. And out. 3 more, deepest breath. And out. 2 more, deepest breath. And out. Last one, in and in. Hold at the top for a moment. Inhale, hold. Hold. And a very soft, very gentle exhale. Hold on the bottom. Sealing lips on bottom. No breath in, no breath out. And if you feel like you didn't do it right and you can't, and you need to breathe already, you can reset. But again, we want to be able to hold our breath here on the exhale, empty lungs, no breath for about 45 seconds. And you can do it. Hear those thoughts again. What? I can't do that. I'm already having trouble. Like, push through that because your body can go farther, right? Our mind is usually what stops us before our body is able to complete and go fully to our capacity. That's where we're going here. Okay, so keep holding. Maybe you can do like a saliva spit swallow, and that can help ease some tension. You can exhale a tiny bit and then keep holding, and that can also decrease some tension. We're holding here for about 20 more seconds. You're doing great. When you need to breathe, and if you have to breathe, you're in charge and you're in control, and you can do that whenever you need to, but also push yourself. Push, push, push. 3, 2, 1. Inhale all the way to the top. Deep breath in. Hold at the top. Hold at the top. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and exhale, let it go. Good. Opportunity to readjust your positioning. Yep. Sink back. Wonderful. Again, you are in full control. I get to lead the charge, and if I'm hitting this pace and you feel like you need to slow down, but then try to join me for those last 5 at the very least. If you feel like you didn't hold on the exhale, yeah, I love it. If you feel like you couldn't hold on the exhale as long as you think other people were going or I was going, then maybe you deflated too much. So try not to over deflate on the exhale before you hold, just a natural zip it. Beautiful. And into the next round, here we go. In through a mouth, through a straw. Exhale, open mouth. Inhale through a straw. You can let your body expand on the inhale, and then exhale, let your body drop. Good. This is a movement practice, breath practice. In and let it go. Breath practice is a movement practice. Inhale and let it go. Nice and slow to start, like we're taking off an airplane. In and then out. So we're taking off that runway into the sky. Here we go. In and then out. Wonderful. Picking it up a notch faster. Still letting the body move. Reminding yourself this is temporary. Yes, this is tough. Yes, this is difficult. But it's not meant to be easy, right? We're pushing. We're creating stress. Keep it going. Notice the challenges coming into the mind. In, out, in, out. Challenge yourself to keep up with me. In, out. Let your eyes close if you're comfortable. In, out. This is a practice between you and you. In and out. You start blaming me. Ask yourself, why am I blaming him? In and out. You're at full control. Do whatever you want here. In and out. But also push yourself. Challenge. In, out. Now we're going to shift into that open mouth inhale. It's a little bit different. In. Almost like you're scared. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hold at the top. Inhale, hold. Pausing. And then remember, soft exhale, not over emptying, but soft exhale. Hold on the bottom. No breath in, no breath out. You are okay. I am okay. I am relaxed. I am in control, but I can do it. I can go longer. I can challenge myself. Your mind may have the little, hey, you can't do it. Breathe. What are you doing? No, I can do it. That's grounded in your body, in your physiology, because you can, because you have plenty of oxygen. You are in control, and your oxygen is in abundance right now. Plenty. Oversaturated with oxygen. It's going into your cells, into your mitochondria, into your mind, into your brain to fuel the body. But eventually, the stores will start to go down. Your oxygen stores will start to lower. CO2 waste product will start to rise. And then that is when your physical body's like, oh, I need to breathe. Keep pushing into that, because that's where we get to influence the immune system, influence the endocrine system, influence the mind to support our body and create strength and resilience. Good. Keep holding to that edge, and then go 5 more seconds. And then get to the edge and go 5 more seconds. Let's go all together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Whenever you need to breathe. 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep in, deep, deep, deep. Hold at the top. Inhale, hold. Hold. And make yourself strong in the core, strong in the shoulders, maybe strong through the fists. Not trying to over pressurize the head, but activating body muscles. 3, 2, 1. Big exhale, big release. I'm just pausing in this stillness for a moment. Letting your eyes shut. Letting your feelings feel, body feel. Tingling, numbness. Maybe you hear some sounds in the room. Allowing your sensory input to be turned on and connect you to present moment. Wonderful. We're going into one more round. In through a straw. Out through the mouth. In through a straw. Out through open mouth. Let that heat out. In through a straw. And out. Final round. Here we go. In. And out. In. And out. In. And out. Good. Keep that pace and keep those principles going, right? We're hyperventilating. This is very Wim Hof style. So you may have done Wim Hof before and you're like, oh, this is almost the exact same. The difference is that we're not doing it for a structured number of times. Keep going. Good. Keep breathing. Same manner and pattern. Good. All the way in, deep. Let it go. All the way in. Let it go. All the way in, deep. Let it go. In through a straw, pulling long. Inhale. And then out. Keeping it in through a straw, faster. Final sprint. Again, this is intentional pulling, intentional breathing fast, intentional stimulation, excitability, arousal of the body. And then to up it just a little bit, open mouth in. A little sphere response. I'm surprised. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Inhale, hold. Inhale, hold. Holding. And then a very, very soft exhale. Hold on the bottom. No breath in, no breath out. Again, we can hold on empty breath here for an extended period of time because we've reached this space of homeostasis, plenty of oxygen. You don't need to breathe. CO2, that waste product of breath, the exhaust is low. You don't need to exhale that out. As you hold, those levels start to come together. Oxygen will start to dip. CO2 will start to rise. And that's natural and that's normal. It's okay. You are safe. You are in control. You can breathe whenever you want to. You are in control. But you can also push. And that's the goal here, is to push, to create stress intentionally. Intentional, voluntary stress in body creates growth, health. That's the goal. Good. Keep holding. This round, I'll pull us all into that inhale together. But if you feel like you got it for another 30 seconds, if you're like, dang, dude, I don't have to breathe, keep going. Find your own edge. And if you've already hit your edge and you need to breathe, do the same principle of taking a big breath in, refilling, holding for about 5 seconds, and then letting it go. So I'm going to play off of Richard here. Doing great. Softness through body, reminder to self, I am okay. And then here comes the chatter in the mind. Oh my gosh, what's going on? This is bad. Freak out. No. It's okay. I got this. Hold. Maybe exhale. Keep holding. And keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2. Deep breath in all the way. Hold. Woo! Into the top. Engaging core. A little bit of Kundalini principle, Mula Bandha, engaging the core pelvic floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and exhale, let it go. Good. No rush to come out of it. Your body might want to fidget maybe, but try to find stillness, return to your normal breathing pattern, slow it down. Here you can shift to in nose, out nose. And noting what you're feeling. Maybe you've reached that space of like, oh, this feels like meditation. Okay, you can turn this right now into meditation practice or a journal practice. Get away from the screen for 5 minutes and just let what's coming up come up. It's a great continuation of this. Maybe you want a 10-minute, set a timer for 10 minutes and do a 10-minute meditation of some sort, or go into like a yoga practice, or just go back into your day here. But yeah, feel this feeling and then try to carry that with you to whatever you're doing next. So namaste. Thank you guys. That was awesome.
Thank you, mate. That was great. Where can people find you if they want to do more of this kind of work with you?
Of course. So my Instagram is True Self Health. Just chatted that. I don't know if that's in the private chat or whatnot.
I think it's in the private chat, but I'll copy and paste it now.
Yeah. And then my website is www.trueself.health. And I do classes throughout the week, breathwork classes. I know that a lot of your audience is in Europe, and none of my classes line up with the Europe time. So I'm going to add another class, maybe similar time, same time next week, Thursday. If that feels like something that works for those who are joining, I'd be happy to add that to my.
Where do they join you?
So it'd be through my website. It's on Zoom, and I'll create a link. But I've been looking for another time to add another class, and this would be perfect. So
there's plenty of American and Canadian followers. Like, it's mainly an American followership that I have here.
Okay.
But there's lots of Brits here as well, and yeah, they would definitely come in and do a regular class with you for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So find me on the website, find me on Instagram, and I'll announce there anything that comes up. But I'm an open book. You can ask questions. I'd love to answer some questions here now. as they come up within you. And again, thank you so much, Richard, for having me. I'm excited to share this work. And so
That's fantastic.
Yeah, man.
So guys, if you have any questions for Justin, if you could make them one sentence long, have them end in a question mark. It's the favorite way of getting things done.
Yeah.
Jenny Digesti suggests breathwork orgies. Well, maybe, at some point.
Well, yeah. Workshop. That's a retreat right there.
Yeah, it's legal and it's safe. So Potent says, beautiful work, Justin. Thank you, Potent. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Potent. Appreciate it.
Okay, Camila asks, why are we wanting to create stress in the body? Can you explain that again?
Yeah, well, the term stress means different things to different people, right? If we think about stress, like emotional stress and things that are bad, we don't want to create that. But us standing up is stress against gravity. Us moving, us exercising is stress. We're stressing our muscles to create hypertrophy, growth. When we're reading, we're stressing our mind and the capacity to read. And when we're thinking about abstract ideas, we're stressing our psyche to understand things. So we as humans naturally want to have this state of like homeostasis plus, because that plus is where we grow, and that's our built-in human mechanism, built-in, like all life has that need to grow a little bit more to live the fulfillment of its life. And so we are creating not that negative stress. We're creating a positive stress that, again, is involuntary control. And the stress that I'm specifically talking about is like holding our breath, so increasing lung capacity. And then also with the holds and the fluctuation of our heart rate going up with the breathing fast and then heart rate going down, we are creating stress within our cardiovascular system that is a positive stress as well. So there are some heart health benefits. So that's the kind of stress that we're going for. Yeah.
I think the people who like my work are really going to enjoy your work because though it is therapy and it's counseling and it's the way I am is quite mainstream. What I get people to do, I'm just pretty rough with them in the way that I get them to do it. So only people who have a tolerance for stress really hang around here. So I think they're really going to enjoy the way that you do things. I have a question here from Lady Anna. She says, what is your opinion on conscious connected breathwork?
Conscious connected breathwork. Well, I'd have to understand exactly what conscious connected breathwork is. I think, like I said, with the methods are many and then the principles are few. I'm guessing there might be like a conscious connected breathwork method that's practiced in a certain way. But to like break that down into the principle of the work, consciousness can be seen, or how I see consciousness is our experience to experience life and things, and maybe beyond life and spirituality. So what I find is with breath work, we're coming in. That's why I'm cueing you to feel into your body, tingling. Notice what you're feeling in the present moment. In my mind, that's consciousness, because that's like reality rather than future thinking or past thinking, which pulls us away from that. So not really sure what you mean by conscious connected breath work, but I think whenever you're doing breath work intentionally and connecting to your body and to the physical or mental state that you create, it is a consciousness practice.
Sarah Jane asks, does this help with people suffering with daily anxiety, or is it just for boosting the immune system?
Yes, absolutely. It does support those who are suffering from anxiety. I was listening to an interview with Wim Hof and an individual, and this individual said, well, how often should I do this? And Wim Hof said, do it every time. Like every time you feel stressed or anxiety, do it. And then this person was like, well, that would mean I do it like 300 times a day because I'm stressed 300 times a day. So we're not like going for like complete replacement of anxiety. Like anxiety comes up, go away, right? Because anxiety, in my understanding from like a psychodynamic space, isn't something we want to also throw away. We want to understand and maybe go into it a little bit. And yes, uncomfortable. And maybe you need someone on the other side to say, hey, I'm feeling this anxiety. And there's this very powerful, positive connection there. But breathing, how I like to use breath for anxiety is not to push anxiety away, because I think anxiety has information and there's a reason underlying that it's there. So I breathe to connect with that a little bit more and understand the anxiety, and then let it be, and maybe it goes away, or maybe I breathe and then push it away. That's fine if that works for you. But yeah, definitely use breath work to support with anxiety. And really quick, we did 20 minutes of breathing, right? You can do 10 seconds of breathing. Really focus on the exhale. I like to focus on the exhale and that over emptying, pumping it out, engaging the diaphragm. That's very potent. At the focus of the exhale is very calming, and then engaging your core will bring your physical being into the diaphragm, stomach, and that can take you out of your head anxiety and into your physical body. So I like the call them gutter pumps. You're emptying out the gutter.
There's when you said about somebody asking Wim Hof about if you're anxious 300 times a day, what should you do? It reminded me of his conversation with Jordan Peterson, where they were talking about Jordan Peterson suffers with immune system disorders.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really pushing him. He was like, please do this work. It's really, really going to help you. And I just thought, if somebody did get anxious 300 times a day, which is probably an exaggeration, it's probably catastrophic thinking. But if they actually stopped and did breath work, then they would definitely get anxious less frequently. Mm-hmm. Because this is the way the brain makes decisions on how it copes with stress. So you're giving the body and the brain a choice. You're going, feel anxious or breath work. Well, if you feel anxious, we're definitely going to have to do breath work. And so eventually you'll be like, oh, the thing is, as well as like, if we're denying and negating ourselves, that can be the thing that creates anxiety. But if you're doing breath work, you're reconnecting back with your body. Yeah. So the way we talk about anxiety is usually like, oh, it's something that happens to you. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure there's a causal thing that we're doing that the body, brain, unconscious observes and then goes, feel anxious, to stop them from doing that. Yeah. Breath work would be a fantastic pattern interrupt. It's like a perfect pattern interrupt.
It's great. And as you're saying that, it's almost like we face anxiety. It's like me versus anxiety. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Or it can be me plus breath work versus anxiety. I have another teammate. It's another thing. And like, whenever you're in a fight with a friend and then the third friend comes in and he's like, both of you guys are wrong. Like, let's bring us all together. That's what breathwork is. Like, breathwork is like not like me and breathwork team up against anxiety. It's like, no, breathwork comes in and says, hey, Justin, anxiety, come on, come together. Like, let's figure this out.
Mediation between the ego and the neurotic response to some sort of ego defense. And there's like an internal mediator going, well, actually, both of you are fucking wrong. You need to integrate.
Yes. Bingo. Exactly.
Let's have a look, see if I can find you one more question before we wrap this. Okay. Can you do any of the breathing exercises in public without looking silly?
Yeah, that's a great question. I quickly found out that doing Wim Hof method on an airplane is not a good idea, because
it sounds like a panic attack.
Yeah, it sounds like a panic attack. It's like, sir, are you okay? And I'm like, I couldn't be better. And they're like, what? That's why I like principles, because if the principle is to hyperventilate and then hold your breath, you can hyperventilate like this, or you can hyperventilate like this. And if the goal is to hold, you can hold like this, or you can hold like. Just going about
so is hyperventilation. Does that basically just mean you are sort of over oxygenating the blood beyond what what you would normally need. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah. And sometimes like the word hyperventilation itself is triggering because someone's like, that's not hyperventilation. Hyperventilation is whenever I'm in my room, like filled up. But hyperoxygenation, basically you're just breathing in a faster manner. And we have oxygen saturation that usually hangs out at like 97 to 100%. And when we hyperventilate, we are pulling in excess oxygen, so like oversaturating in a way. But what we're doing that's more effective and why we can hold our breath longer is we're off-putting a lot of CO2, which is the exhaust. And so that's the big shift. So it's like hyperventilating, but really we're like carbon dioxiding, we're exhaling more. We're like getting that out.
Right.
So
it's more about getting the carbon dioxide out than sucking more oxygen in. Is that more of the process?
Yeah, because we say you're at like 100% oxygen saturation, which most people probably are, just because we're breathing all day. I didn't do any prep, and I can hold my breath,
right,
and hold because I have this high density of oxygen already in my body.
That's interesting.
Can't hold it.
So do we walk around at 100%? Is that right?
It depends on individuals, right? We walking around requires oxygen as energy to move our muscles and cells. So when you hold, like you have a pulse oximeter, you put it on your finger. I'd be at like 98 right now. I'd stand up, walk a little bit, go down to like 96. If you have like pulmonary restrictions or some kind of like cardiovascular lung disease, usually they'll be like at 92% oxygen saturation. And as soon as the individual stands up, it might dip down to 88%. And then we're walking. So like as a physiotherapist, if I'm working with an older geriatric individual and we're monitoring blood oxygen level and they're at like 95 and we get up and we start walking, and if walking brings that 95 down to like 90, I'm like, okay, we wouldn't want to go any lower than like 88 because he might get tired, dizzy, and potentially faint.
Right.
Again, that's oxygen saturation dropping happening to him. Right. And so what we're doing in this capacity here, and when we exhale, hold, we're dropping our oxygen saturation from 99, 100 to 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, like 50% oxygen saturation is happening in the moment. But
Wim Hof said that he spoke to a doctor who measured him and his students and said normally this would be an oxygen level that would get you sent to an ICU.
Yeah.
So if you showed up and they measured you at like 50, 60, they would panic. They'd be like, okay, quickly, we need to get oxygen into this person.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on? Why? Because if I show up and my oxygen levels are that low, they'd be like, what's happening that's caught? They would think I'd have like some kind of reaction where my esophagus and my throat's like tightened up and
swollen, right? So when you're saying we're putting the body through stress voluntarily, we're putting the body through pretty rigorous stress from a certain point of view.
Pretty rigorous, right? Yeah, absolutely. There's a significant drop in oxygen saturation. And then as oxygen drops and CO2 rises, our blood pH, which is typically 7.35 to 7.45, it's usually like a little bit on the alkaline side. Whenever we have this drop, our blood goes into this acidic state, acidic range. But again, that's only like 30 seconds of acidity in the blood. And our body doesn't like acidity in the blood. And so it's like, this is where the endocrine system comes in. It's like, okay, let's change that, counter that. We got to get out of this. And then our body and our mechanisms start to work to support our homeostasis and our balance coming back up. And so whenever we breathe, we return to a more alkaline blood state. An alkaline blood state is where health and rejuvenation of body naturally occurs. So we are not supplementing our body's natural resources. We're enhancing and supporting the proper use of it. So there's so much more in there, but that's a nice little baseline. And the book Breath by James Nestor is a great resource if you want to look that up. Breath by James Nestor, and plenty other resources. And again, I could answer questions all day, but I also know that we are at the hour right now. And what a fun man.
We are. I'm just going to put if you could say where they can find you again for people who've just joined us.
Yes. So True Self Health is my Instagram tag. And then my website is www.trueself.health. And those are the two primary ways to find me. And you can connect via email through there. And I'm, again, happy to connect. And I do group breathwork sessions. I do one-on-one breath assessments. If you're someone who's facing stress or anxiety or emotional health, I do coaching in that capacity as well. So happy to support and help out in any capacity. And
you have some free tutorials on your Instagram and on your website as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm an open book, and my goal is just to give out as much of my ideas as possible, because what I teach right now is going to evolve over time. So I don't want to hang on to anything. So I'm just constantly wanting to share stuff.
Abundance mindset.
That's it. That's the definition of abundance mindset, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah. I love it, man. Good to see you again.
Very cool to be with you again, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us. If you enjoyed it, hit the like, post a comment, and ask for Justin back again, and we can do this again as a group. I think group breathwork is a very healthy thing to be doing. Thank you very much, sir, and look forward to speaking to you all again very soon.
Thank you. Yes. Take care.